In this video, we're going to go through on Nanyang Primary School Preliminary Examination 2024 Primary 6 Mathematics Paper 2. So let's get started on the first question. So Abby has M cookies. Benson has 5 times as many cookies as Abby. Charlie has 4 more cookies than Benson, and Abby, Benson, and Charlie have 59 cookies altogether. So how many cookies does Abby have? Okay, so we can write this down. Abby has M cookies. Then Benson has 5 times, so 5 times M, which is basically 5M. And Charlie has 4 more cookies than Benson, which is 5n plus 4, right? So then altogether, so total will be 59. Okay, so that means 59 will then be equal to m plus 5m plus 5m plus 4, which in this case is equal to 11m plus 4. So 11m is equal to 59 minus 4, which is equal to 55. So 1m is equal to 55 divided by 11, which is equal to uh, is 5. Yes, 5. Okay, so in this, since AB is m, so the answer is 5. All right, let's move on to question number 2. Okay, it says here, a printing machine prints 240 pages in 1/6 of an hour. How many pages does it print in 3.5 hours? Okay, so if we were to use the calculator, so let me get my calculator over here. All right, so 1 over, whoops, let me cancel everything. 1 over 6 multiplied by 60 is 10 minutes, right? So 1 over 6 hours is equal to 10 minutes. So that means 10 minutes is equal to 240 pages. Okay, we want to know 3.5 hours. So how many minutes 3.5 hours? 3.5 hours is equal to 3.5 times 60. So 6 times 60 equal 10 minutes. 3.5 is equal to, so 3.5 times 60, which is equal to 210 minutes. So with that, 210 minutes is equal to 240 times 21, and this will equal to, so 240 times 21, 5040, 5040 pages. Okay, so the answer is 5040. All right, let's move on to question number 3. So the average set of 7 numbers is 7. A number is added to the set and the average becomes 10. What is the number? So the average set of 7 numbers is 7. Okay, so that means we have a total of 7 numbers, which is equal to 7 times 7, which is equal to 49. And then total of 8 numbers. Okay, let me see. 8 numbers is equal to 8 times 10. And this will become 80. So what is the number? So we can just have 80 minus 49. Okay, and this will give us, let's use our calculator, 80 minus 49, this will give us 31. Okay, so number added is equal to 31. Okay, right. Let's move on to the next question. All right, question number 4. What is the price of the car after adding 9% GST? So, price after adding 9% GST is equal to 188,000 times bracket 100 plus 9 and then percent. Okay, this will then equal to, so basically is times 109%. Oops. Let me cancel that. So it's 180,000 times 109%. Okay, this will be 204,922 dollars. Right, that's it. So that's the answer. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. So in the figure below, ABC is an isosceles triangle. So let's put it there. ABC is an isosceles. And then AB is equal to BC. Okay. So ADEF is a parallelogram. So just here and here. So it's parallelogram as well as over here. Right. And then CBD is 46 degrees, right? CBD, and then DEF is 72 degrees. Okay, so BDE is a straight line. So find ABD over here. All right. So what we can do is we can first get this angle. I'm going to make this green, right? So ADE, and then this angle vertically opposite is BDC. And then after that, once we have 46, 180 minus 46 and the green angle, then we can get this angle over here, which is BCD. And since this is an isosceles triangle, we can also get this as well. All right. So once we have these two angles, we can have 180 minus these two angles and 46, and we can get our angle that we're looking for, which is ABD. Okay, so let's get started. So let's get angle ADE, which is equal to 180 minus 72, and this will give us, so 180 minus 72, 108 degrees, right? Then since angle ADE, so angle, right, this one ADE is equal to angle BDC, which is also 108 degrees. So I'm gonna put this 108 as green. Okay, same goes here. Right, 108 degrees. So we can get BCD. So angle BCD is equal to 180 minus 108 minus 46. Okay, let's use the calculator. So it's basically it's 72 minus 46. This will give us 26 degrees. Okay, so we also know that 26 degrees is the yellow one. That's what I see over here, which is also equal to BAC. So angle BCD, okay, is equal to angle BAC. BAC, which is equal to 26 degrees. Okay, and then we can get angle ABD, which is equal to 180 minus 26 minus 26 minus 46. Okay, so 180 minus 26 minus 26 minus 46. Okay, this will give us 82. So that's the answer, 82 degrees over here. Okay, so there you go. All right, let's move on to the next question. All right, so question 6, in the square grid below, AB and BC are straight lines. So I see over here. So part A says by joining the dots on the grid with the straight lines, draw a trapezium ABCD such that AD, which is this point, is parallel to BC, which is this one. And then AD is twice as long as BC. So AD is twice as long as BC. So what you can do is, for me, this is what I usually do, is you draw the lines to connect from one point to the other. So for me, it's, since we are using the parallel lines, we are connecting from B to C, and you want to make it twice as long, right? So from here, from B to C, we will get 1 from B, and then 2 downwards to C. So we do this same thing as well from A, right? We get 1 and 2. Okay, and then since it's twice, right, we do another one. Okay, 1 and 2. That's what I see over here. So that means 1, right, and 2, and then 1 and 2. So that this is will lead you to the point that we need to draw the line. So in this case, this is the point over here. Okay, and then after that, you can draw from A to this, right? And this is twice as long as B and C. And then from there, you can just join this point to C, and there you go. So the answer to this is, it will look something like this, right? Okay, let's move on to part B. Okay, so part B, he says by joining the dots on the grid with the straight lines, draw a triangle ABE such that AE is perpendicular to BE and AE is equal to BE. Triangle AB does not overlap with trapezium ABCD. Okay, so usually you have a protractor set with a right angle ruler like this. So what you can do is actually, to be honest, you can just like align the ruler, the base of the ruler like this to this, right? And they can just slowly in a way make this align to where you see. So over here, I think you can see, right, A and B is touching at this point over here, right? A and B roughly touching at this point. So that's where you can draw the line, right? So A is over here, and then B in this point is over here as well. Okay, so now when you align it, okay, it's nicely aligned to where you see it over here. Okay, so I'm just rough measuring lah. That's what I see over here. Okay, and there you go. That is how you get the right angle triangle. That's what I see over here. Okay, so and they are the same length. So if you want to calculate the length of this, okay, so make sure that you just draw the middle, and it's also should be looks the same. All right. Okay, so now let's move on to C. Okay, so for part C, find the ratio of the area of trapezium to the area of triangle ABE. Express the answer in its simplest form. Okay, let me just put E here. All right, so what we can do is we can split this into two triangles. So the right angle triangle over here, we can just split this into two triangles. So that means over here, we can say that this is the height of 2. So it's 2. And then the base over here, right, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that means this is 5. So 2, and then we have 5. I'm just gonna put 5 here instead, right? This will be 5. So we know that the base is just 5 lah, right? Okay, this 5, and then after that, for this the height is 2 as well, right? Okay, so basically, if you were to just say half times 2 times 5 times, and then we have this is one triangle, and then since they have both the same height, okay, so ABE, right, area is equal to 2 times half times 2 times 5. Okay, let's move to C. Okay, so this will then become 2 times 5 is 10 times 5, so this is just 10. Okay, so ABCD area is also same thing, 2 times of the what I call this the area. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7, right? So I'm just gonna make this a bit out over here. Okay, so 7, and then we have 7 like this. So we have 2, right? Same thing, 2. Oops, we have 2 as well. Oh god. Right, so we have 2, and then after that we also have, this is from here to here. We will just say 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4 and 2. So in this case, we have half times 2 times 7 plus, right, half times 2, no, half times, so the base is 7, right, and then the height is 2 and 4 times 2, and then 7 times 2, so this is half, so 7 times 4 is the height. That means This is 7 plus 14, which is equal to 21. Okay. So we want the ABCD to ABE, right? ABCD to ABE, which is equal to 21 is to 10. There you go. So that's the answer. 21 is to 10. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, question number 7. Right. So baker has some tarts and cookies. He packed the tarts in boxes of 6 and the cookies in boxes of 10. He sold each box of tarts for $28 and each box of cookies for $22.40. He sold 4 times as many boxes as tarts as cookies. He earned a total of $2,198.40 from the sale of all the boxes of tarts and boxes of cookies. How many tarts did he sell? Okay, so one box of tarts is equal to $28.80, and then one box of cookies, love cookies, is $22.20. So we know that he sold 4 times as many boxes of tarts and cookies. So one group is equal to uh, 4 boxes of cookies plus, so he sold 4 times as many boxes tarts plus one box of cookies. Okay, which is, so one group is this, and one group value is equal to 4 times tarts 28.80 plus 22.20. Okay, let's use our calculator, right? So 4 times 28.80 plus 22.20, this is dollars 137.40. Okay, so then number of groups is equal to 2198.40 divided by 137.40. Okay, so 2198.40 divided by 1374.40. This will give us 16 groups. Right. So now, how many box of tarts? So total number of box of tarts is equal to, so one group has 4 boxes of tarts, so it's 16 times 4, which is equal to, right, times 4, 64. Okay, 64. So total number of tarts is equal to 64. Boxes of tarts have 6 tarts in them, times 6, right? And this will then become multiplied by 6. Let me double check boxes. He packed the tarts in boxes of 6 and cookies in boxes of 10. Okay, 384. 384. Okay, there you go. That's the answer, 384. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. At first, Wei Liang had 360 more stickers than Vikram. Wei Liang gave 3/8 of his stickers to Su, and Vikram gave 1/4 of his stickers to Su. In the end, Wei Liang had 159 more stickers than Vikram. How many stickers did Vikram have at first? Okay, so for this case, what we can do is so Wei Liang had 360 more stickers than Vikram. So, and we have like 8 and 4. So usually get lowest common multiple of 8 and 4, which is basically 8. So let's Vikram multiple. Okay, so let Vikram be 8 units. So easier to divide and multiply. Okay, so in this case, we know that Wei Liang is equal to Vikram, which is 8 units plus 360. So Wei Liang at first, right? At first is 8 units plus 360, and then Vikram at first has 8 units. All right. So, yep. Okay, so let me just put this on top like this. Okay, so then Wei Liang gave away 3 8. So remaining for Wei Liang is equal to 1 minus 3 8, which is equal to 5 over 8. And then let's do the same with Vikram. So let's move to down here. So Vikram gave away 1/4. So 1/4, and then he remaining is 1 minus 1/4, and this will give you 3/4. So this is the remaining in terms of fractions. So Wei Liang remaining in units is equal to 5 over 8 times bracket 8 units plus 360. 360, which is also, let me just put the same as 5 over 8 times 8 unit plus 5 over 8 plus times 360. Okay, so 5 over 8, this is just 5 units. And then plus 5 over 8 plus 360. So we just have 5 over 8 times 360. And this will give us 225. So let's do the same for Vikram. So, right, Vikram remaining units, pretty straightforward, which is basically 3/4 times 8 units. Okay, so it's basically 6 units, right? You can use the calculator. 3 divided by 4 times 8, this will give you 6 units. Okay, then in the end also Wei Liang had, so in the end Wei Liang, Liang had, what is this, 159, 59 more than Vikram. So that means Wei Liang is equal to Vikram plus 159, which is now Wei Liang is 5 units plus 25 is equal to Vikram, which is 6 units plus 159. Okay, so we can say 6 units is equal to 5 units plus 225 minus 159, which is equal to, so 225 minus 159 minus 159 equal to 66. So 1 unit is equal to 66. Right, so 5 units plus 66. Right, so 1 unit equal to 66. So Vikram at first has 8 units. So 8 units is equal to 66 times 8. Wait, 66 times 8, 528. Right? This is 528. So there you go. That's the answer. 528. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 9. Right, question 9 says the table below shows the type of medals to be awarded for mathematics competition. So average of best 4 quizzes score, gold is 85 to 100, silver is 70 to 84, and bronze is 50 to 69. Every participant has taken part in a total of 5 quizzes. A medal will be awarded using the average of the best 4 quizzes score. Part of team score is smudged and the scores for the first 3 are shown below. Given all the scores are whole numbers, what's the lowest possible score team must get in quiz E to get a gold? Right, so the gold medal is best of 4 quizzes, 85 to 100. So the average must be 85 at least lah, right? So in this case over here, total uh of least, so least amount, least average score should be 85. So total score for 4 quizzes, right, is equal to quizzes double Z is basically 4 times 85, and this will give us 85 times 4, 340, 340. All right, so once we get total score for 4 quizzes, the next thing is we also want uh, to get to get score quiz score to be the lowest possible score, then quiz D, let me put this a little bit smaller. Quiz D must be the highest possible score. So that means quiz D can be 79. So therefore, quiz E will be equal to 340 minus uh, quiz B. So quiz E, so yeah, quiz E minus quiz B minus quiz C and minus quiz D. Right, so that's it. We only minus the highest scores. So with this 340 minus 79 minus 95 minus quiz D 79 must be 79. We only minus the high scores. Okay, let's do that. So 340 minus 79 minus 79 minus 95. Okay, this gives us 87. Okay, so the answer to this question is 87. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 10. At 9 a.m., Peter traveled from city A to city B at a constant speed of 80 kilometers an hour. Half an hour later, Timothy traveled from city A to city B at a constant speed along the same route. After Timothy traveled 240 kilometers, he caught up with Peter. Timothy took 5 hours to travel from city A to city B. Find the distance between city A and city B. So I'm going to visualize this. Okay, so I've drawn, it will look something like this. So city A, city B, 5 hours that takes Timothy, but we don't know what's the speed. So we need to know what's the speed in order for us to know what's the distance from city A and city B. And we know that both of them meet at here, which is 240 kilometers. Of so from city A, right? Okay, so with that, let's calculate Peter's, because once we know Peter's timing, then we can use it to understand how long Timothy took to travel 240 kilometers, which will give us the speed. So with that, first at okay 0930, Peter traveled. So Peter traveled, so which is equal to 30 minutes times 80 kilometers an hour, right? So okay, let me write a little bit better. From 0900 to 0930 is 30 minutes, right? And 30 minutes, okay, it's equal to half an hour or 0.5 hours, right? 0.5 hours. Okay, so now we know that at 9:30, Peter at 80 kilometers. So Peter traveled, total distance traveled at 0930 is equal to 0.5 times 80, which is equal to 40 kilometers, right? 0.5 hours times 80 kilometers an hour. Yeah, kilometers an hour is equal to 40 kilometers. Okay, so from here we know that Peter already traveled 40 kilometers at 9:30. Then the thing is that from here, from 0930 to meet travel distance, okay, for Peter is equal to, yeah, 240 minus 200, minus 40 is equal to 200 kilometers. So from 9:30, Peter traveled an additional 200 kilometers to go to the meeting point. Okay, so now we know that that is it. Then the next part is, since we know the distance traveled from 9:30 to the meeting point, we can know the time, right? Time taken for Peter from what do you call this? From time taken, yeah, from 9:30 to meet is equal to 200 divided by 80, which is equal to 200 divided by 80 is what? 200 divided by 80. It's around 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. Okay, from 90 to meet. So that's the same time that Timothy took to travel 240. So speed, Timothy speed is equal to 200, 240 and then divided by 2.5, right? So 240 kilometers he travel in 2.5 hours. Okay, and this is equal to 240 divided by 2.5, 96 kilometers an hour. So now we know Timothy's speed, right? Okay, km per hour. Then we can just multiply the time. So distance from A to B is equal to 96 kilometers an hour times 5 hours, which is equal to, because it took him 5 hours from A to B, so multiply by 5, this will give us 480 kilometers. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer for this question. Okay, let's move on to the next question, question 11. Okay, so tank A and tank B are cubical tanks. Tank A has a length of 30 centimeters. So tank A is completely filled with water and tank B is empty. After 2/5 of the water from tank A is poured into tank B, the ratio of the height of the water in tank A to that of tank B is 8 is to 3. So find the amount of water poured from tank A to tank B. Okay, so since one side and they are cubical, so this is 30 centimeters and then this is also 30 centimeters. Okay, right, so pretty straightforward. So what we can do is, so tank A capacity or volume, right, volume lah, is equal to 30 times length times breadth times height. Okay, which is equal to 30 times 30 times 30. Okay, so in this case 30 times 30 times 30 is 27,000 centimeter cube. Okay, and the amount poured after 2/5, so 2/5 poured is equal to 2/5 times 27,000. Okay, and this is equal to, so times 2 out of 5. Okay, 10,800. 10,800 centimeter cube in this case over here. Right, so there you go. That's the answer, 10,800 centimeter cube. They didn't say they want liters or milliliters. Okay, next one. Find the length of tank B. Right, so the ratio of the height is 8 is to 3 when we pour out, right? So we can get the base area. So tank A base area is equal is equal to 30 times 30, which is 900 centimeter square. What we want to get the base area is to get the height is equal to volume divided by base area. Okay, so we're looking for the height of the tank A when it's 2/5 pod because we get the ratio right over here. So this is the ratio of the height. Okay, so for this, what we can do is the height of tank A is equal to in this case actually yeah yeah uh for height of tank A to height of 2/5 tank 2/5 pod, right? After tank A pod, the height is after 2/5 is pod height of tank A. Essentially, it's just 3/5. Okay, okay, but essentially the volume, right? 2/5 is pod, so we have 27000 minus 10,08000. Okay, 800, and then divided by base 0 is 900. Okay, so I can tell you that the answer is probably 2/5, 3/5, 9, 5, 6, 18 lah. Okay, but let's do this calculation. So do here 27 1 2 3 minus 10 0 8 0 0 16 200, and then we divide it by 900. So it's 18 centimeters. So we know that tank A of tank B, tank A is 8, tank B is 3. So tank A is to tank B is 8 is to 3. 8 is to 3. So I see over here. All right. So that means if 8 units is equal to 18, then 3 units is equal to 18 divided by, divided by 8 times 3. So divided by 8 times 3, 6.75 centimeter square. Okay, so that's tank B, what do you call this, height, right, over here. Okay, so now the next thing is that since we know the height, we can also know the base area. Okay, so base area is equal to volume divided by height, and then length is equal to roots of base area square base area. So that's how we get the length for tank B. Okay, so for the base area, so base tank B base area is equal to the volume. So we know the volume that's being poured out is 10,800, and then we divide it by 6.75, right? So okay, that will become, so 10,800 divided by 6.75. This will then become 1600 centimeter square, right? Yes. Okay, then length, tank B length will then become square root of 1600, okay, which is 40 lah, right? You go, where's the square root? Scientific. So you do the square root, and this will become 40 centimeter. So the answer to this is 40 centimeter. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. All right, so question 12. All right, so question 12. The length of a rectangular tank is 60 centimeters as shown below. A divider is put into a regular tank to create two sections, all right, section A and section B. So an equal amount of water is poured into section A and section B. The height of water in section A is 10 centimeters and the height of water in section B is 15 centimeters. So what is the length of section A? Okay, so over here, what we can do is we can write down, right? So section A is equal to, or volume A lah, right? Volume, right? Volume of section A is equal to, right? Volume of section B. So in this case over here, it's basically length, right? A times breadth. Gonna put, yeah, breadth times height equal to, and we do the same thing as well, right? So length B, right, times breadth times height. So in this case also, I just want to kind of say that let length A be A, and let length B, right? So in this case, so length A will just be A, and then length B will just be B, right? So with that said, now the next thing is that we can in a way also cancel out the breadth. Okay, so in this case, we can just cancel the breadth and cancel the breadth as well, like this. Okay, so now this will then become A times, then the height is for A is 10, and then equal to B times 15, right? So this will become 10A, right, equal to 15B. So then we can say 1A is equal to 15 divided by 10, which is equal to 15B. 15B divided by 10A will be basically, if you were to just calculate, right, 15, right, and then we divide it by 10, this will be just 1.5 over here. Okay, 1.5. So we also know that length A and length B equal to 60 centimeters. So A plus B, right, plus B is equal to 60 centimeters. So that means if we were to swap 1A over here, so that means 1.5. So this is 1.5B, right? 1.5B plus, so B is equal to 60 centimeters, right? So 2.5B is equal to 60 centimeters, right? cm, and then 1B is equal to 60, and then divide by 2.5. Okay, and what would this give us, right? So 60 and then divide by 2.5. Okay, this will give us 24 centimeters. So we also know that A over here is equal to 1.5B. So 1A is equal to 1.5 times 1B, which is 24. This is equal to, use the calculator, multiply by 1.5. This will give us 36 centimeters. So it's over here. Therefore, A is 36 centimeters. That's what you see over here. Okay. All right. Let's move on to part B. Right. So for part B over here, the divider is removed from the regular tank. What is the height of the water? So if we were to refer back to our current, I would say, workings over here. Okay. So we can say, let's put it over here, right? Volume of section A be this over here. Okay, so volume of section A is, so we know what's A, right, and we know what's B. So technically it will just be the same, right? A is equal to A times B, right? So the whole volume, right, if you were to call the total volume of water, is basically just two times, right? Two times this, right? Two times section A. Okay, section A, which is basically 2 and then times this thing over here. Okay, right? So in this case, we know that A is 36, right? Oops, A is 36, and then times the breadth, right? And then times, and then the height will be what we see over here, 10. 10, which then will become, so if you use the calculator, so 2 times 36 times 10, 720. So 720 centimeters times breadth. Okay. So this is the total volume of water that we have over here. Okay. And then we know that the height is equal to volume, right, divided by base area, right, divided by base area. Okay. And we know the base area now. Base area is equal to breadth times, and over here 60 centimeters, right? 60 centimeters. So in this case over here, what we can say is the volume, right? Which you see this is equal to 720 times breadth, right? And then this whole thing, bracket, divided by, right? Divide by breadth. Well, this one, breadth times 60. Okay, so in this case what we can do is we can cancel out, right, the breadth also. So cancel out the breadth and then cancel out the breadth as well. So that means this will then become 720 divided by 60, and the height for this water will be 12 centimeters, right? 720 divided by 60, this will be 12 centimeters. Right, there you go. So that's your answer. The height is 12 centimeters. All right, that's it for this question. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, question 13. So the line graph shows the amount of money that Raj saved each month from March to June. Okay, so we see the line graph over here. How much more did he save in May than April? Okay, so what we can do is we can zoom this in, right? So we have one, zoom even more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that means over here it's 5 gaps is equal to 50, and then one gap, oops, gap is equal to 50 divided by 5, and this will equal to 10, right? So now let's see how much each of the month is. So let me just move this over here. Okay, so create a line that's red. So March, if you draw the line, okay, and then we draw the line again. So this will then be around 160, right? So 160 in this, right? Then we draw the line again for April, maybe a different color. So April over here, this actually says May and April. Okay, I'm just going to calculate everything, right? So in this case, this would then be around 50, 60, 70, right? This is 70. Okay, and then after that, May over here, that's it's very, very big. All right, so May, let me just put another red as well, right? So we're gonna draw the line May, then draw another line over here so we can see. So this is 350, right? So I'm gonna put here as 350, 350, and then lastly June. June is over here, which is across here, so it's 40, 420. Okay, so June is all the way down to 420 in this case, right? So this is 420, 420. Okay, so now it says how much more did he save in May than April. Okay, so with that said, it's basically 350 minus 70, which is equal to $280. Okay, so we can just write $280 in this case over here. Okay, let's move on to part B. Okay, so part B says what was the percentage increase in his savings from May to June? May to June. Okay, so increase from May to June is equal to 420 minus 350. Okay, and this is equal to $70. Okay, so the percentage increase, right? Percentage increase is equal to 70, right? Divided by which month? From May to June, right? So May over here is 350, 350 times 100%. Okay, and let's see. So 70 divided by 350 times 100. Okay, this is 20%. Okay, there you go. The answer is 20%. All right, that's part B. Let's move to part C. Okay, so the amount of money Raj saved in July was 1/5 of the total amount of money he saved from March to July. How much did he save in July? Okay, so over here we have March to July, which is 1/5. Okay, so when you say like that, so July is equal to 1 unit, and then 1/5. So 1/5 of the total. So total is equal to 4 units. right? And then the rest march to what do you call this? Total is 5 units, sorry, not 4. 5. Okay, and the rest is basically March to June is equal to 5 minus 1 equal to 4 units. Okay, so we know that March to June is 4 units, so we want to also calculate March to June. So let's write down March to June is equal to, so let me just sort this out a bit. Okay, so let's calculate 160, right? And then plus 70 plus 350 plus 420. And what would this become? So let's use the calculator. Oops. Right, calculator. So 160 plus 70 plus 350 plus 420. Oops, I didn't accidentally press. So I just put this. Okay. This will then become $1,000. 1,000. So how much did you save in July? So that means, let me just put this down here. So at least we have some space on the left. Okay, so July is 1 unit. So 1 unit is equal to so if 4 units is equal to 1,000, then 1 unit is equal to 1,000, and then divided by 4, and this is equal to dollars. Dollars 250. Okay, so 1,000 divided by 4, $250. So the answer is 250. Okay, there you go. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, question 14. All right, so it says here, right, David and Edmund had some stamps at first. The ratio of the number of stamps David had to the Edmund was 1 is to 4. David gave 1/3 of his stamps to Edmund. After that, Edmund then gave 1/2 of his stamps to David. So David had 170 stamps in the end. Okay, how many stamps did David have at first? All right, so in this case, I'm gonna write here David is to Edmund, which is equal to 1 is to 4, right? So the thing is that when you see David gave 1/3 of his stamps to Edmund, so what I usually do is just um, multiply by 3 lah, so it's easier. Okay, times 3 and then times 3. So this and then will become 3 is to 12. Okay, so I'll just put here units and then units. Okay, easier. So in this case, David at first got 3 units, and then Edmund at first has have 12 units. Okay, so David, all right, I'm just gonna move this over here. Right, so David gave, so David at first gave 1/3 to his, so David gave to Edmund, which is basically right 1/3 times 3 units, and this will give us 1 unit. So David left 3 units minus 1 equal to 2 units. Okay, and then Edmund new total will be 12 units. 12 plus 1 equal to 13 units. Okay, right, and then after that Edmund gave to David, so in this case he gave half, right? So in this case gave to David half, which is 13 units. 13 times half, which is basically 6.5 units. So then Edmund left 6.5 units. Okay, pretty straightforward. And then David new total is equal to 2 units plus 2 plus 6.5, which is equal to 8.5 units. So in this case over here, since we know that David has in total of 8.5 units, right? Then we know that David had 100 stamps in the end. So David in the end, right, has 8.5 units. So that means, right, 8.5 units is equal to 170, and then 1 unit is equal to 170, and then divided by 8.5. Okay, can use the calculator. 170 divided by 8.5, and this will give us 20 stems. So at first, how many does David have? 3 units, right? Okay, which is in this case over here, right? 3 units, which is, let me just put this below, 3 times 20, which is 60. So the answer to this question is 60. All right, there we go. Let's move on. How many stems did Edmund have in the end? So Edmund left 6.5 units. So for this, 1 unit is equal to 20, and then 6.5 units, which is Edmund in the end, right, will have 6.5 times 20, which is equal to, so multiply by 6.5, 130. 130. Okay, there you go. So you have 130 for Edmund. All right, that's about it. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 15 over here. So in the figure below, right, BCD is a rhombus. So BCDE is a rhombus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some arrows. Oops, let's make it a little bit nicer. Still not nice. Okay, this, and this. Right, this should be like that. And then we also make sure that everything is equal. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. All right. So BE is parallel to, and CD are parallel to each other. Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. DEF is a straight line. So for this, I'm going to draw it red so that it's easier for us to see. Okay. Then after that, AB is equal to BE. So AB is equal to BE, which is, I'm just going to write like this. And then BEF is 62 degrees. And AED is 140. Okay. Which is this one over here. All right, so now we want to find AEB. So A, E, and B. So it's basically half. Right, so in this case over here, what we can do is that we know that AEB, I'm looking at BEF is 62 degrees. Okay, and then ABE is 143. So pretty much what we can do is we can actually just, since this is a straight line, we can have it have 180 minus 143, and we will get this small little angle, and then we just minus 62 with this small little angle to get what we want over here. Okay, so this is the angle that we want, which is a bit hard to see, right? So I'm gonna put this here red. Okay, so we want to find the green angle, which I'm gonna draw here. Okay, so it's basically 143, which is, I'm gonna draw it here, 143. Okay, minus the yellow angle, we get the green angle, and then 62 minus the green angle, we get the angle that we want. Okay, so let's do that. So basically, we want to get AEF angle, AEF, angle, right? AEF is equal to, equal to 180 minus 143. Okay, and this will give us 37. 180 minus 143. Okay, this will give us 37 degrees, right? So 37 degrees. Okay, and then after that, okay, so now we know the green angle is 37 degrees. Let me grab that, put it over here, and make it green for this. So this green, all right? So then now we have 37 degrees. Now we can just minus 62 to get the red angle, which is angle AEB, which is equal to 62 minus 37. And this will give us the red one, which is, right, 62 minus 37, 25 degrees. And there you go. That's the answer. 25 degrees. All right. Okay. So that's it for part A. All right. So now let's move on to part B. We want to find ABC. So ABC is over here. So I'm going to draw another one, which is this. Okay. Right. So since we know that ABE is two of the same, what do you call this? Same side. So that means, right, I'm going to write down here. Okay. Where is my this? Okay. So angle, black, A B E, not angle, right? Triangle ABE is an isosceles triangle, right? Since AB is equal to BE in this case over here, right? Okay, so triangle ABE is an isosceles triangle. So that means to get AB angle, ABE, which is equal to 180, right? And then the red one, 25 degrees over here, right? 25. Let me make this red. Okay, this one is also 25 degrees. So let me also write that down, 25. So that means angle, right? Angle BAE is equal to angle BEA, which is also 25 degrees, right? So that means 180 minus 25 minus 25, and this will give us 130 degrees. So I see over here. Okay, so now we know that this angle, gonna make this red as well, because it's one angle, right? This is equal to 150. Sorry, 130. 130. Okay, so now the next thing is we want to get, I guess, this angle over here as well. So let me, hopefully I'm not out of colors. Okay, we want to get this blue angle. So to get this blue angle, we need to get this angle over here, right? Whoops, let me just make this a bit like that. So 143 minus 25, and we get this, which is the opposite over here. Okay, so let's do that. Let's get the blue angle. So angle BED, right? Angle, the blue angle, right? BED is equal to not 180, but 143 minus 25, and this will give us, okay, let's use our calculator. So 143 minus 125, this, no, sorry, 143 minus 25, okay, and this will give us one, not plus, 143 minus 25, okay, 118, okay, 118, right, degrees. Okay, so that means this blue angle over here is 118 degrees, right? And then after that we can get this opposite angle. So angle CBE, right? Angle CBE is equal to 180 minus 118. Right, let's see what's the calculation. 180 minus 118. Okay, this will give us 62 degrees. 62 degrees. Right? Okay, so now we know that this over here, 62 degrees, right, is equal to this angle. Now we can find ABC, right? So I'll just put here, let me just make this a bit wider, so at least, yes. Okay, so that means angle ABC is equal to 360 minus 130 minus 62, right? Okay, and what would this give us? So let's use the calculator. 360 minus 130 minus 62, this will give us 168 degrees. So 168 degrees. There you go. So that's the answer, 168 degrees. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 16, it says here, the Tan family finished 5 kg of rice in 5 days. The graph below shows the amount of rice consumed by the Tan family from day 1 to day 5. Day 5 is not drawn it's not drawn at all. Okay, so no rice was consumed on day 3. Draw the bar for the amount of rice consumed by the Tan family on day 5. Okay, so in this case, we know that they have consumed 5 kg of rice in 5 days, and we need to know how many is one of these gaps over here. So let's draw a gap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case, we'll say 5 gaps is equal to, the first number is 0.5, and then one gap is equal to 0.5 divided by 5 equal to 0.1. So we know one gap is 0.1 kg, right? In this case over here. Right, so now let's calculate for each day. So day 1, if we calculate the line over here, let's make it red. Right, so 2.123. So this is 2.3. Okay, so 2.3. Okay, let's see for day 2. Day 2, let's copy this and paste it here. Okay, so day 2 is just one above, so it should be 1.1. Okay, day 3 is nothing, and then day 4, let's move to day 4. Day 4, let's see how much does it get. Right, in this case over here, day 4 is 0. 0.5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is 0, 0.8. Right, let me just put 0.8. All right, so now we know the total. We can get day 5. So in this case, right, day 5 is equal to 5 minus 5 is the total, 5 minus 2.3 minus 1.1 minus 0.8. And what will this give us? So let's use the calculator. So let me just move it over here. 5 minus 2.3 minus 1.1 minus 0.8. Okay, this will give us 0.213 minus 1.08. Okay, 0.8. Okay, 0.8 plus 0.8. Okay, right. Yes, correct. So 0.8 is where? Day 4, right? So we just draw a rectangle that is also 0.8, like this. There you go. So make sure they are aligned. Okay, which is the same as this as well, right? Okay, yeah, roughly the same lah. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next part B. So what fraction of 5 kg of rice was consumed on day 1? Okay, so day 1 we know is 2.3. So fraction is basically equal to 2.3 out of 5. Okay, so we can multiply this by 2. Let me just put as a proper fraction, right? So day 1 is equal to, then we just put 2.3 divided by 5 in this case, right? So how do you make a decimal into a what do you call this, a fraction? So the simplest way is, since this is a fraction, you just multiply this by 10. Okay, pretty straightforward. 10, and they have 10 here as well. Okay, so then this will become, right, so it's 23 out of 50. Can we divide anything else? Probably not. Okay, so in this case, the answer to this is what fraction? On day 1, this will be 23 out of 50. Okay, there you go. That's the answer. Okay, all right, let's move to the next question. Question C. 200 grams of rice fill 1 cup. How many of such cups of rice were consumed by the end of day 4? Okay, so kg of rice by end of day 4 is equal to 5 minus 0.8. Okay, right, just minus the last day lah. So it will be 4.2. Okay, so if you use the calculator to double check, so 5 minus zero point 0.8, this is 4.2. Okay, so now we know it is 4.2 kg, right? So 200 grams is equal to how many kilograms, right? So 200, and then we divide it by 1000. Okay, it's not 2000, 200. So this should be, you can use the calculator, 200 divided by 1000, 0.2. Okay, pretty straightforward. 0.2 kg. So number of cups is equal to 4.2, and then divided by 0.2, and this will give us, so let's go 4.2 divided by zero point 0.2, this is 21 cups. Okay, so the answer is 21. Oops, right, there you go. That's the answer. Let me just move this here. Okay, all right, let's move to the last part D. So it says here the average amount of rice consumed from day 1 to day 7 was 0.9 kg. Write down one possible set of values for the amount of rice consumed on day 6 and day 7. Okay, so we know that there's 7 days, so total rice in day 7 days, right, is equal to 7 times 0.9. Okay, this should be 6.3. Can use the calculator to double check. 7 times 0.9 go to 6.3, right? So this is the total rice. Now I'll write down the possible values. So in this case, we can just 5. So day 6 plus day 7 is equal to, we have 5. So 6.3 minus 5, this will give us 1.3 kg. Right, so I mean, you can do whatever combination you want, to be honest. It can be 1 and 1.3, or So it can be like, for example, possible answers can be 1 kg and 0.3 kg, right? And you can do 0.9, right? zero point 0.9 kg and 0.4, okay, and then 0.8 and this is 0.5 and 0.7 and then 0.6, okay, either works, right? So these are the possible answers, doesn't really matter to be honest, okay. So make sure, so can be any number, decimal numbers, but must add to 1 3 kg, okay. So this is how it looks like basically, right? So possible answers, you can do whatever combination you want, okay. All right, that's it for this question. Let's move to, I would say, the last question, question 17. Okay, the figure below is made out of squares ABCD, right? As you can see, ABCD. So a semicircle DOC is and two overlapping quarter circles, ACD and BDC and DE. So DE is equal to EC, right? Okay, so this should be the midpoint, right? Okay, then F is a point on the arc DOC, and EC is a straight line. Oh, sorry, OE is a straight line, and the length of EF is 50 centimeters. All right, so this is 50 centimeters. Okay, this case over here. Okay, so find the area of the semicircle DOC. Right, so semicircle area is equal to pi times radius, right? So the radius over here is equal to 50 centimeters. So area is equal to pi times radius. So pi is equal to 3.14, right? If we see on top, 3.14, okay, times 50 times 50. Okay, this is the radius over here. And what would this become? This will then become, let's use a calculator, right? So 3.14 times 50 times 50. Okay, this is 7,850 centimeter cube. There you go. So that's the answer. 7,850 centimeter cube in this case. So let me see if I can do this. Yeah, lah. I'll just do this. Radius. Okay. Now the next part is find the difference between area. Oops, sorry. So this is full circle. So you need to do half. My bad. So half times radius. So it's basically half times. Okay, and then use the calculator. Divided by 2. Okay, it's 3,925. Okay, so this is when I use the calculator, right? 3,925 centimeter cube. Totally forgot. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So that's the answer. All right, let's move on to the next question. Find the difference between area X and area Y. All right, so we have area X at the top and area Y over here. Okay, so first thing is that what we need to do is we need to basically have this, I would say, quadrant over here. Let me make it red so it's easier to see. So this quadrant, okay, we need to minus this, I would say, semicircle. Okay, make it red again, right? To become this kind of shape. That's what you see over here, right? This kind of shape. Okay, so one quadrant minus semicircle, we get this kind of shape, and then it will look something like this, right? Okay, so once we get this shape, the next thing is that once we have this shape, or actually we can, let me see, yeah. So once we have this shape,